So welcome to another Wargame review from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander.
And I'm Grant.
And today we are taking a look at a new game from Dan Versen Games, DVG, and it's called Down in Flames, Locked On. You make that noise a lot during this game.
Yes. Lots of sounds. Explosions, missiles missing, countermeasure.
Yeah.
You know.
If you've ever played Down in Flames, it's a series of tactical air war card games. You'll pilot usually a single fighter plane. Sometimes, like in the World War II, when you've got like a wingman that you play with.
And this one had an option where you could do 2 jet fighters.
Yeah,
right?
and a lot of them you can. The reality is if you've got the cards, you can fly as many planes as you want. But you play one guy. It's really on that level, and it's you against one other pilot or a couple if you're doing a dogfight with other people, and it's trying to position yourself, trying to get locked on in this instance, get missile locks, shoot missiles, evade them, flying around.
Deadly missiles.
Very, very deadly.
You don't take hits. You are destroyed.
Yeah, I think if you do gun attacks, you might take hits. Maybe.
We never connected with a gun attack in our couple of plays.
We never got there. If you're doing gun attacks, you've probably expended your missiles.
Yeah, right.
And it's probably
and it's desperation.
Yeah, not good.
But we've played Wild Blue Yonder.
Yes.
Right? Which is a derivative of the Down in Flames system.
It is
the Down in Flames system.
Yeah.
And we talked about this. There's huge followings of this at like conventions.
Oh, yeah.
Consim. I saw it being played at WBC.
And I think that's WBC. They have the tournaments. It's like tournament of this, and I mean, they play it like everywhere.
And we need to get in that. We'll get destroyed, and that's okay. But we will be in it, and we'll get a medal too, right? Won't we get a medal?
No,
that's only B-17.
That's a B-17.
Okay,
but
we're glory hounds. We want the medals.
It's such a cool game because it's quick and it's fast playing, and it's a card game in the sense that you have a hand of cards. And you're trying to play them to outmaneuver, and there's this kind of back and forth, kind of a trump cycle that you're trying to go through to see if you can execute said maneuver, which is trying to position your cards, get in a good advantageous position, and then launch your missiles, shoot your machine guns, that kind of stuff. So that's really what the game is. It's 6 turns long, and a turn is I kind of do my stuff, play out of my hand,
and you can. There's no limit to the number of cards you can play as long as you have them.
Yeah, out of
you're then going to hurt yourself, but you can play 4 or 5 cards around and maybe more. And we've played. I think that one round we played. I want to say between us, 10 cards,
and that was with our best planes.
Yeah,
as well.
So we had like 9 cards in our hand, but so it is a back and forth. I play a barrel roll to evade your missile. You then have to play a similar counter card.
Yeah, I'm then going to play a scissors, which counters your barrel roll, and then you play a yo-yo, which counters
the scissors, and it just goes back. And at some point, you kind of have to.
At some point, you've got to either give up because you don't want to waste all your cards, or you can't, and you've been outmaneuvered, and then the enemy gets their advantage on them while you get blown away.
And that's a really good part of the game. There's a lot of hand management and a lot of decisions about how far you want to press it. There comes a point almost of no return where I've spent 3 cards. I've got to make this count.
Yes.
Because I can't back it up with another 3 cards. So I like that part of the game.
Yeah.
I really do.
And it's a very, very strategic game in how and when you play your cards and trying to get that to go optimally. But at the same time, you might get dealt a hand which is you get hosed. Yeah. And so it's trying to make the best of that. Or the game's over, but it was only 15 minutes. Who cares? You just play another round. That's what's really awesome about the game.
Yeah, you can play 20 to 40 minutes. I think the longer games are going to be when you have better performance rating and therefore have many better cards.
So when we played with
F-18 Hornet,
F-18s and the MiG-29s, they have a much higher hand limit, so you can have more cards. So you basically punch all your afterburners, stack your hand with a ton of cards, and so that way those dogfights, the maneuvering is you just go.
It's crazy.
You're like, played all these cards, awesome. That's so much fun. And I don't know about you, the whole time I play this game, because this is the Jet Fighters version, I had Danger Zone go through my head.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This is like half of it's Top Gun in a box.
Well, the other thing, and we kind of joked about this, I also had the image of Jack Porkins being obliterated by the TIE fighter from Obsidian
Squadron, I believe.
You know, that's just always the image that I have. Obviously, it's a Star Wars image; has nothing to do with jet fighters, but it's the same concept.
Yeah, it's like man to man in a plane.
Yeah,
and you're managing your altitude, your kind of relative range and speed.
Mm-hmm.
But you have these missile counters, and every time you expend one, you make a noise. and then, you know, when you get the target locks, it's called a tone card. And
so you're going beep, 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 beep. Yeah, it's just...
And then you run out of cards, and you're like, no. Yeah. And you blow up.
This game it's fun. I mean, the reality of this game is I could play this over and over and over again. And in fact, we're going to shoot this video, and we're probably going to play one more time.
There's
because we just had so much fun with it.
And if you watch the unboxing, there's a huge stack of planes possible. Because really, you'll play with one or two at most on each side. So we did a couple different ones. We played with some of the newer ones with the F-18s and MiGs. We just played some Falkland style where I was
awesome.
Sea Harrier versus a Mirage. I mean, it goes all the way back.
Yeah, there's 3 inches of... That's 2 inches. 2 inches of cards.
Yeah.
That represent all types of different aircraft from the Korean War.
Yeah, or
right
like
through
propeller planes. There's like 2 propeller planes. You can
really
play
cool.
like a Corsair, I think.
Yeah.
Going against a Yak or something like that.
Just interesting.
All the way up
F-14
to
Tomcat.
There's F-22
Raptors.
There's nothing for them to fly against, really, because they're so new and so good.
There's your Tornado that we were talking about. So yeah, there's a lot of replayability because there's a lot of different aircraft.
Yes.
You could play this again and again and again, trying to match up aircraft that have the same capabilities or similar is going to be the challenge.
Right, and so then you get into like there's a points-based system for building them out. You know, you might have 10 VPs,
right?
And so I might say, well, I can deck myself out with a special ability.
There you go, like an ace pilot or something. So, and we didn't do a lot of that. We kind of just, I think this last match we did was 42 victory points,
and
you were
45.
So we were close. It wasn't like it was that huge of a discrepancy.
Right.
I got lucky and ended up winning,
but you got lucky to an extent. But you also
I was planning that.
Out right.
And that's one comment I mentioned: hand management. That last round, I was looking at the number of cards you had, not knowing what you have, but I'm looking at my hand, going, I had 2 missile shots, and I had like 3 cards that I felt confident I could force you to play a couple cards, thinking to myself, the more cards you played on that first missile, even if it misses, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to follow it up with this missile, and then you're not going to have anything. You had used your countermeasure.
Yes.
I had countered your countermeasure, which is awesome.
Then I had nothing.
Then you had nothing, and it's like, so yeah, there's that hand management on both ends for defense. I often played or didn't play cards thinking, I really need to make sure I have a couple.
Hang on to this.
I need to have a card that's going to counter a break or red line.
Yeah.
Because those are the hardest ones. When you get an ace pilot, man, you got to hold on to that card as long as you can.
Yeah.
Because that counters everything. But that's what this game is about: hand management, strategic playing of those cards, and really just having fun. It's just fun.
Yeah, because it's quick and easy. And this rulebook is very clear as well.
Good examples.
I actually really enjoyed this rulebook from DVG. It's not long, a ton of pictures and examples, and it helps that we've played other Down in Flames games because
we know the system
is the same.
Yeah,
it's just a few bits of chrome here and there. So in like the World War II ones, you just play a fire card and you're shooting your machine guns, and it's how well can you do that. In this one, you have to play the tone card to get the target lock, and then you're allowed to launch your missile, and then you play this mini missile resolution,
which is cool,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much for us to learn, so this was very easy to pick up.
Right.
If you've played Down in Flames, especially if you've only played like World War II stuff, this is awesome. It's the same, but it's different.
Yes,
it feels
same mechanically, but we had talked about this. The World War II, you can take 3 or 4 gunshots.
Yeah,
right? You can get shot.
Yeah. Okay, I get away with it. Oh, I could take 2 or 3 hits. This, if you get hit by a missile, you're dead.
All the missile cards say target destroyed. It doesn't say target damaged. It doesn't say target loses a card. It's target destroyed. And Very, very lethal. And that's exactly what you expect from a missile that's being fired with a lock on you. You're not going to get away very often.
But I really, really, really enjoyed the tension that brought.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you hear Grant go, beep, 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 put down the tone card, it's like...
What am I going to do?
Can I counter this tone? How do I get out of this target lock? And if I can't get out of it, he's going to launch that missile. And so I better have my missiles.
Yep.
So then you get into, do I bother trying to evade the target lock?
Or just
go
save.
straight for trying to block the missile itself. If
Yeah.
I've got a countermeasures, or if I've got a gun card that can counter a missile,
Yep.
those kind of things. And so you're like, how far do I push it? And that...
Yeah. Very meaningful decisions almost at every point.
Because if you cock it up, you're dead.
Yeah, because there were a couple times early on in the game, because I always worry about positioning. If you're being tailed, you're dead as far as I'm concerned. Because you can be fired upon, and guess what? You cannot return fire. So if you are being tailed, you got to get out of that. So I fought really hard, particularly in our first game, at getting you at disadvantage, or at least, getting you turned sideways to be disadvantaged so that it was harder for you to fire back at me. I spent a lot of cards doing that. And in the end, it ended up saving me the first game. Second game, I didn't worry about that as much. We had less cards, but it was, man, there's so many meaningful decisions. Do I fight this out or do I let it go?
Yeah.
Very rarely do I just say, I'm going to let it go. But there were times I did.
Sometimes you have to wait a second.
Yeah.
Just because you might have no cards, and
Yep.
you're like, okay, how do I fix this? How do I get out of
And
this?
you can gain cards by using your afterburners. Most of our...
If you have them.
If you have them. Most of our jets at least had one afterburner. And you can use that to gain more cards. You can also dive, right, to gain a card.
Cards.
Your elevation.
But then, if you dive too low, that hurts your performance.
Yes.
Because the air's thicker and your engines
Yeah.
don't work as efficiently.
So there's a lot of really great choices about this. I also really liked the, what do you call this? The aircraft card?
Called the aircraft display.
Aircraft display. I really wish the Wild Blue Yonder had something like this. I just felt like it kept it tidier.
Well, I
Because-
understand why it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because this has, there's a lot more.
There's more
to
more
track.
elements to the game.
Because in Wild Blue Yonder, you track your altitude and
And that's pretty much it.
Here
and your relative position.
Yeah, here you've got relative range, you've got a missile loadout, you've
Yeah.
got countermeasures to track, and you've got your afterburners. And whilst that might seem a lot, it's not.
Yeah.
You just keep it all on this
It's
tiny
very
little
simple.
card that looks like a really cool kind of your controls.
I just thought it was cool. I
Yeah,
really liked
I
that,
thought that was a
card.
neat little piece of chrome there that
Yep.
keeps everything tidy. You can play without them if you want, but
And I think when you get really familiar with the game, you maybe don't need it. But it's still
or if you're
cool.
playing with like 8 people, not
Yeah.
everyone's going to have one.
But I really liked that element. I thought the art on the cards was really good. We were talking about the art of the Dan Verson games. They typically do a lot of that art in-house.
Yes.
And some of the styles isn't always our favorite. I've seen some other air games that the art is much better. Now, the card art is really good.
Yeah, the action cards are great.
Are really good.
They're nice and dynamic.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy. And these cards are identical, at least in style. I don't know if
To
some of them
Phantom
are-
Leader,
to
right?
Phantom Leader, yes.
Yeah.
There are Phantoms in here, and they're probably exactly the same cards.
Yeah, because they have a 1968 scenario, basically, right?
Yeah, they had. Yeah, I'm
Operation
pretty sure.
Rolling Thunder.
I'm pretty sure this is exactly the same card
Right.
the A70 Corsairs.
And that's the other thing about this game. There's a lot more in the box. You can play it solo.
Yes, they have a full solo module, which I have not played yet.
Right, we have not played that yet. So this is a review just of the two-player game.
But I mean, it's
We need
like,
to check that
It's
out.
like 5 pages, and then there's like
Very
a
simple.
chart, which I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll definitely give it a go, and hopefully it'll be awesome.
And then the other thing it has is campaigns. Doesn't it
Yes.
have like 5 campaigns?
It has a whole bunch of 5 or 6 campaigns, and it goes through like this is the Yom Kippur War in '73, and so
My
you
birth date, by the way, birth year.
well, hopefully that wasn't the cause of the war.
Yeah.
You just go through and you play the missions, and it tells you
Yeah.
these are the planes you use. Here's what you may or may not come across. Here's how to resolve all of that. And so you fly that mission, and you go through the series of missions, and you're trying to earn a certain number of victory points.
Yep.
And the victory points, like we said, it's based on the card that you shoot down. This guy's worth 42 victory points if he had a
Right.
full missile loadout, for example. So,
So really cool. We didn't play those, but I
No.
would like to sit down and try those.
Yeah.
Particularly the Operation Desert Storm
Yes.
is in there. That's one, once again, when I was in high school that I was very keen and aware of.
And that's also gives a lot of narrative and story to doing it solo as well.
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing it solo, I'm probably gonna be playing through those campaigns.
Right.
Right. And there's four. I think it's 5 or 6 of those cards. So you're looking at 5 missions on each one. You've got almost 30 solo missions to play.
That's a lot.
Let alone just picking them and just playing yourself, which you could also do.
So lots of replayability, lots of meaningful decisions, lots of different chrome. I liked, I had a Mirage versus your Harrier. Not the best of jets, right? Neither of us.
Your jet was
slightly
that
better maneuver.
That's what was fascinating, though.
But my weapons weren't as good, but I got in good position to take you out.
Yes.
And that's just the way it is. I had fewer missiles than you.
I had four.
I had 2.
And yours was significantly worse missiles as well.
But I just got in right position. I got the good...
And it's the good cards.
Yeah, so I was basically an ace pilot on this one, in essence.
Yes.
And it was very interesting. Just great. I really enjoyed this.
But yeah, that's basically it, right? That's Down in Flames. It's a quick playing card-based game. And I don't know if there were ever other jet fighter versions of this game.
I'm not sure.
I've not done my history on that one, but this was a total blast. And whilst the same system, so it was very familiar, was totally different from a World War II game.
Yeah.
And I thought that was...
Which it should be.
Right. But
these are jets.
But in a system that's so streamlined and so easy to learn, I was worried that how different could this be? Answer is, it's actually very different.
Yeah.
Like, you're trying to do the same things, but the way the resolution of combat goes and how much you can and can't do with your plane, the range aspect is a new part to me.
It is.
And the way they calculate that's pretty interesting, and it forces you to kind of to go in so that you can blow your various different missiles at different ranges. And you're like, oh, I'm going to punch my afterburners to get a bunch of cards. Well, if you're in heat-seeking range, they're going to get extra cards to shoot you down with. It's much easier for you to lock on. And once you launch your missiles, they're going after those afterburners.
And I kept waiting for that to happen, and it just never... We never got in range when we used those afterburners. We
were being wusses and
we were.
Long range.
We should have just charged in, which is interesting. I didn't charge in this one. Usually I do, but yeah, great system, great game, well produced, fun to play. I liked it.
If you like Down in Flames, this is frankly a must.
I think it's almost a no-brainer if you really like the Down in Flames system.
And if you've never played Down in Flames, this is an inexpensive box. It's not too much here.
Yep.
If you like jet fighters, this is a great place to start as well. So, this is a very affordable, very approachable box. It's fresh off of that Kickstarter, so they'll be widely available.
And I think this is a game you might plan to teach to your wife, Kelly.
I'm hoping to get her to do this in Friday Night Fights.
Yeah, that would be great. I think she'll get it. Now she may not get all the tactical elements,
but she likes the card games.
Yeah, my wife loves card games too.
And once you can get out of the abstraction of what we're trying to do, I think she'll get it.
So look for that. I think that would be fun for you guys to do.
Yes. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been Down in Flames Locked On from DVG. Go ahead, check that out if you've got any interest. I appreciate you guys watching. I've been Alexander from theplayersaid.com.
And I'm Grant.